All right, a lot to get across tonight. Joining me now, journalist at the Daily Telegraph, James Willis, and host of the Power Hour at Sky News Gab Power. Well, welcome to you both, James. I want to start with this trip to China. I'll talk to a defence expert in a moment about this pretty hairy questions raised by the Pentagon overnight. But in sheer political terms, I think this trip's becoming really tricky for Anthony Albanese, isn't it, given the sentiment here and the sentiment in the United States?
Well, a couple of points have to be raised on this, Peter, and can I just echo what you said off the top in regards to how this alliance works? It's two ways. If we expect America to turn around and defend us one day, if we're under threat, then we should be helping America at any opportunity, and that includes and extends to Taiwan. On this trip to China, I certainly hope, based on what you've said off the top, that the Prime Minister will be expressing his concerns about China's emission levels. They're at 30% of the world's emissions. We're about 1.2%. That never seems to be brought up, and it never ever gets raised in any of the climate outrage that we have in Australia, just how big China is in terms of emissions compared to here. But the third point is in relation to the optics of this and the idea that the Prime Minister has had meetings before in China, and yet at this point in time there has not been a meeting with America and the US President Donald Trump in particular. We know Kevin Rudd's had a meeting, but I'm talking about the Prime Minister and the President sitting down. I spoke to a very senior political source today, Peter, who said that it is crazy to think that this has not been secured by the Prime Minister getting on a plane, going over to the White House and sitting down with Donald Trump, when many other world leaders have done this already, including tiny countries in Africa and other parts of the world. We haven't done it. We need to do it. And by cuddling up to China off the back of the tariffs the US put in place, I think the optics in terms of this relationship are terrible.
I think by the end of the year, by my calculation, going into summit season, the PM will have been on his plane about 8 times. And one of those times will it land in Washington, unless he pulls a rabbit out of the hat. But you're absolutely right, that's where he needs to go. Let's go to that leaked document today from Treasury. They meant to respond to an FOI, Gab, but they put out a document they didn't intend to release. This was secret advice to the government. Basically, your budget's crook. You're going to have to raise taxes to get the debt under some sort of control. And your task, it says, to build 1.2 million homes. Terribly, terribly, terribly behind. The Treasurer, well, he was pretty dismissive of the leak. Have a listen.
What's happened here is a Treasury official has sent those documents in error. That sort of thing happens from time to time. I'm pretty relaxed about it, to be honest. The other reason I'm pretty relaxed about it is we've already made it really clear that we will need to do more to meet our housing targets. We've already made it really clear that we will do more to make our economy more productive and more resilient.
I tell you what, liar, liar, pants and flyer, he's not relaxed. I mean, this is terrible, terrible, terrible stuff. I mean, you can imagine what would have happened out of his office when he learnt this was in the papers. But what's interesting, in the document it says we as taxpayers have spent $10 billion and all we've got is 17 new homes.
Unbelievable. But just to pick up on Treasurer Jim Chalmers' response there, telling everyone that he feels relaxed. I mean, relaxed is how you're supposed to feel when you go on holiday. How are the millions of Australians who are struggling to meet their mortgage repayments, their energy bills are going up and up and up, and they're suffering through a cost of living crisis supposed to feel when the Treasurer, he's on a comfy salary of more than $400,000 a year, and we're learning this information that, if you read between the lines, Labor's going to have to increase taxes. I mean, how are Australians supposed to feel? I don't think they're getting any comfort hearing that he supposedly feels relaxed. But this leaked document, it is embarrassing for the Labor government, and it shows that officials suggested to the government that it needs to find additional revenue to build on its superannuation tax and raise indirect taxes. So that could be such as alcohol and tobacco. And we know that Australia already has some of the highest taxes on alcohol and tobacco in the world. And as you point out, Peter, the document also shows that Labor's promise to build 1.2 million homes over the next 5 years is not going to be met, not at all. In terms of meeting that target, it needs to produce 240,000 homes each year. That's how many need to be built, and we're nowhere near that. Now, we know that the Albanese government will be holding this roundtable in August to brainstorm Australia's path forward, and there are already concerns from economists here that this is going to result in finding new tax revenue as opposed to actual tax reform.